7, aka Diz, and this is the Force Always.
Okay, so welcome to the show. This is the Force Always, first one for 2021. The last episode was about Wonder Woman. This one will be all about Star Wars. Making news this week. Not a whole lot of, good Star Wars stuff. But besides, look, Star Wars Celebration shop. That's the Star Wars Celebration.com. The shop is soon to close. So if you want to get any goodies there, please just go over there, Star Wars Celebration, and check out some of the stuff. It was quite some interesting sort of products on there. And also, I noticed a particular model on there this week that has been embroiled in a bit of controversy, leading into the next story. Pablo Hildago, which is one of the main story writer at Star Wars, has mocked the fandom and via Twitter, and it's really taken up a lot of time and energy this week with Star Wars. All I've got to say on this is that I feel for the person who got mocked. He won't be mentioned, as I think everyone knows who the person is, but also I think it's that's irrelevant. But I think Pablo Hildago really needs to sort of step down from his ego at the moment. He's, in my opinion, he's, I think a bit ego tripping. He seems to be quite... I did meet him at Orlando Celebration. He seemed to be quite, sort of relaxed, calm sort of person, but I don't know, maybe having such a great job in the world and also sort of having the world at his feet, maybe just has caused a bit of an ego. Look, there could be a possible misunderstanding on what he really meant. But he did put it out there, and I think when you use text, it's really hard to distinguish what that person means, especially if it's been sarcastic. Unfortunately, responsibility needs to be taken, I think, and Pablo has been a bit unkind to a bit of the fandom, blocking a number of YouTubers and Twitter people for no real reason, I think. Unless, for me, the only time that you would block someone is if someone is being very malicious and, threatening your world in some sort of manner. But if the person is not really to your taste, I think to block them is just unnecessary, especially when they're in the Star Wars world. They're a customer to your thing, which is saying to Pablo Hildago, which I'm sure he won't see this, but anyway, a bit disappointing in the last week with the whole Pablo Hildago controversy. I think it will sort of find a way in a good place soon enough, but for now it's a little bit crazy out there. But pretty much that's the news for this time around. And I should say, one of the models on StarWarsCelebration.com was connected to the Pablo Hildago mocking controversy in this last week. So I thought that was unusual and interesting timing. But anyway, so that's the news for this time around. Let's get into views. Views this time is a story idea and that I have within the Star Wars universe. My story idea is to do with the weakest show that's going to be coming out in the next year or two, which is called a droid story. Personally, that's not my most favorite one, and a lot of fans seem to be not most favorite with too. And this could really, be a dump if they don't do this right. But I think the best story starting point, if they're going to make it a story, as they're saying, a droid story, should be after the Rise of Skywalker. That would be the best timing for R2-D2 and C-3PO, I'm sure will be the leads in this droid story, to take on the adventures sort of into their own world, as we sort of really departed in the very last scene with BB-8 and Rey Skywalker, you would say. So R2-D2 and C-3PO sort of can find a new home in original stories after that, and it will push the story forward. That's my story idea. That's where I'd like it to be. I think that would create a bit more interest about a droid story, the particular live action series, I assume, that's coming to Disney Plus in the next year or two, more like 2. But yeah, so hopefully that will, that's where they begin it, and that's something will be interesting. Sort of, if you can remember the little point where in Return of the Jedi, when C-3PO was telling the story so far to all the Ewoks, that was a really great scene, especially with the sound effects that they were using within C-3PO. That would be an added bonus to the storytelling of this droid story in some sort of aspect. That would be great. Anyway, so that's pretty much my views this time around. So let's get into reviews. Reviews this time around is something unusual. I can't really review it because it's actually my own thing. As you know out there, I always end off my sort of show with keep rockin'. I actually say it in normal life to numbers of people. I didn't actually mean it in the beginning to be so meaningful in its, strength to it, but, people really gravitated to it in that way, and a sort of essential. I was actually saying it that sort of aspect, but I didn't really, force it upon people. But keep rocking is a big sort of part of my life. It's about not giving up and pushing forward. And so I created a song, a tune, via, as I do music myself. I'll give you a bit of a sample of the tune. So that's just a little sample. All you've got to do is go to YouTube and just type in Keep Rockin', and it's spelled Keep space ROCKN space customer space service. Keep Rockin' Customer Service. Customer Service is the group that I'm sort of involved with. That's the song. It's just an audio file. There's just a picture, and I've actually dedicated it to my my auntie, who I refer as my mum, in Malta. I have a Maltese sort of background. If you don't know where Malta is, it's near Italy, just under. And she passed away, unfortunately, in this last week. It was very sort of devastating, but at the same time very expected. And so I've dedicated, because she really did she was a person that inspired the keep rockin' sort of thing. A number of people in my life have. But anyway, so check that one out. Keep Rockin' Customer Service, only on YouTube. You heard a little sample there. Anyway, so that's, and I can't review it. It's just a song review. So tell me what you think if you want. Anyway, so that's the review section of this time around. Let's get into interviews. It's Interviews 2Q, which is 2 questions I asked myself for you guys out there. And the first question is, what should you put on Twitter? Personally, I put just, life events that cover Star Wars, as my Twitter is about Star Wars, or I advertise my show that's coming up or has been or is going on. That's what I use it for. That's what I think everyone should use Twitter for, is a positive reinforcement. What you shouldn't use it for, which is the second question, is, replying or applying, replying or applying, sort of negativity, like mocking, like we've had in the last week. It does no good. It really leads out of control in lots of ways. I think there's a lot of toxic behavior out there, not just within Star Wars, any sort of place on this planet, really. There's always good and bad anywhere, but really that's what I suggest. What you use it for, just anything that's positive. Even, look, I advertise and re-advertise and re-advertise. You may know if you're watching this, just to really try and push the channel. But I'm very happy with the community I've got. They're fantastic people, from Nigel, Mara, Paula, and even Kate. All of them. That it's very small, but they're very good people. And there's many others there, but they seem to be the very strong supporters. And so just don't use it again for negative replying to things or applying some negativity out there. it's a waste of time. Let's just keep rocking. Funny enough. Anyway, so that's the show this time around. Here on a weekly basis with Star Wars news, views, reviews, and interviews. Look, contact me through my Twitter, which is down there, or Instagram, or even via YouTube. And until next time, my friends, like the tune that I just released, remember, keep rocking customer service. Until next time, keep rocking.